This episode's sponsored by LadyFootlocker.com. You have a lot going on. Work, school, friends, kids, cocktail parties. Go prepared and look good while you're doing it. Head to everydaytriggers.tv/lady to save 10% off orders $50 or more at LadyFootlocker.com. Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm your host, Derek Shulman. Arg, me mateys. This is the pirate float recipe. Little Mr. Krabs action. So this recipe, there was another...
Krabs isn't a pirate.
He's kind of like a pirate. He talks like when he's got like pirate leggies. Those little sticks. I don't know.
See, only pirates walk around on sticks. Those are stilts. You're getting your things all wrong.
Stilts, no, those are those clowns.
Yeah,
Big stilts.
You got them all wrong.
This recipe is pretty simple. We had another recipe I mentioned yesterday called the Harry Potter that we weren't not able to make, but Jennifer thought of a recipe that had something we hadn't used in a while, which was root beer schnapps. So what other thing goes with barrels of root beer than pirates? And Krakens.
Kraken.
There you go. It's Kraken rum. Spiced, black spiced rum, 47% alcohol by volume, 94 proof. That's how math works. So with this one, you could build it if you want to and stir it in here by yourself. What I'm going to do, because I left my stirring device downstairs, is I'm going to do an ounce and a half of the two liquors in here. Give it a couple shakes, chill it up a little bit, top it with some Coke, regular Coke in this case. So an ounce and a half of me Kraken. Because pirates say me, they don't understand how, I think, those pronouns.
They didn't have school way back then.
No. So they didn't have the concept of a pronoun and noun and, I don't know, so another big word, adjective.
Verb. It's a huge word.
Coordinate, subjunction. That's a word, right?
You say so.
Root beer barrel. Woo! Present perfect participle. I just made all that up.
Why don't you just shake?
3 words put together that don't go together.
It's an alliteration.
That's actually why I did it, because it was kind of alliterating. I'm totally alliterated.
Totally illiterate.
All right. Well, let's use some of this ghetto ice. This is the ice that melted into a big old melted thing.
Wow, very descriptive.
Yeah, you put it in a bag, it melts down. So here's our, that actually makes a lot. A root beer float, as opposed to a pirate's float, would be mainly a small amount of other things on top of the root beer, right? This
Ice cream and root beer, isn't it?
Yeah, but the ice cream is typically a less quantity than the root beer. In this case, I don't think that's true. I think we have more of the goodies and less of the actual soda. So it's boring to look at. Kind of figured that was going to happen because it is just Coke. But sometimes you just got to make a soda-based recipe. It makes me go arg.
As in gross.
No. It's got an actual good bite of alcohol in the finish, like the alcohol taste kind of rumming around in there. This is pretty much, if you could think of a really fancy version of a spiced, or a rum and Coke, or a spiced rum and Coke. What do they call it? Like a Captain Morgan Coke, if you will. Although we're not using Captain Morgan. This is a little better. It's a little sweeter. But you've got the Coke, you've got the spice, you can taste that, but then there's this this hint of root beer still kind of present in the finish too. I think that, I don't know if this is potent or what, because 22%. It smells like root beer, but there has always been like a little bit of alcohol taste to the root beer schnapps, where it's not as sweet as some of the other schnapps I've had, at least not in anything we've made. You do get a little root beer in the start too, and the sweetness of the Coke. overall, I think whatever cola you use, you could probably use even a generic cola at this point because a lot of that gets lost when you bring these two guys. You get the root beer and you get the spices together. And really, even though it's the body, it doesn't really taste like a Coca-Cola. I don't think. Let me try. No, that's got that more sweet caramel flavor. Actually, I think I like this better. It's not as sweet. It doesn't have that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. Anyway.
No, there's no maybe about that.
That is the Pirates Float. If pirates drank this back in the day, it totally explains
It would totally make them float.
they took merchant ships by storm and pillaged them. I don't
Just wrap it up.
know. EverydayDrinkers.tv. We're teaching you how to drink.